Create your future self. Yeah, create your future self. That's the whisper that was gnawing at my ear as I was driving down from Atlanta, Georgia to Orlando, Florida on one of the worst summer vacations I've ever taken my kids and my wife on. You see, create your future self was the exact message gnawing at my ear as I was thinking about how I was going to rent this car and book this hotel with jacked up credit. You see, I had to live check to check, even though I was earning over $80,000 per year. And create your future self was the message that kept digging into my mind as I was finally getting paid on Friday and driving to the rent-a-car place, renting the car with my debit card, because again, I had to wait for the money to hit my deposit. Create your future self was the exact message that I was hearing in my head as we were driving down 75 South to Orlando, and I'm speeding going 83 miles an hour, and I see the blue and red lights behind me. Again, it was Friday, trying to make the best of a weekend for my kids' summer trip. We do this every summer, but this year it hit different. And create your future self was what I was thinking about as the officer politely wrote the speeding ticket and handed it to me. He said, yep, that would be probably about $150. You can pay that in about 3 weeks. That's how they talk down in South Georgia as you head over across the border from Georgia to Florida. Create your future self was the exact message that kept penetrating these ears as we pulled up to this crappy hotel. Now, mind you, my teenage kids may not have realized it was a crappy hotel. But Mrs. Johnson over here, she knew it was a crappy hotel. The kids stayed in one room, my wife and I stayed in another room, and the roaches kind of stayed in whatever room they wanted to stay in. It was a crappy hotel. Create your future self is what I kept thinking about as I watched every dollar in my account just dissipate as we were eating, as we tried to do any semblance of entertainment in Orlando for that day and a half that we were in Orlando. Create your future self is what kept penetrating my head as I thought about it. I couldn't get any sleep during that entire weekend. I just continued to think about what type of father, what type of husband, what type of man am I that this is the best that I could do for my kids' summer vacation. Create your future self was what I thought about as we drove back up to Atlanta on Sunday evening. And I'm looking in the rearview mirror and I see my teenage kids slumped over, sleeping on each other's shoulders. And I look over to my wife and she's also sleeping. But I looked into my eyes in that rearview mirror as well. And that's exactly what kept gnawing at my ear. Brother, you got to create your future self. And again, I heard that gnawing, irritating message as we pulled into our driveway back in Atlanta. And my kids got in and got settled, washed up and went to bed. And my wife fixed a quick snack, took a shower and laid down. But I had to stay up. And there were 3 things that I did to start the journey to create my future self. Number 1, I pulled out this notepad and I wrote a line right down the middle of that notepad. And on the left side of that notepad, I wrote down all of the obstacles, distractions, the things that were preventing me from becoming the man that I wanted to become, the man that I wanted to create. And on the other side of that document, I wrote down what the man that I wanted to become would be doing. What are his habits? What would his bank account look like? Where would we live? What would we drive? What kind of business or income would I generate? And what type of vacations we would really take? And again, I looked over at that left side and it was all the distractions and obstacles, the collection items on my credit report. Again, I'm a collection manager for 50 people, making 80 plus a year, but I'm dodging the calls every time they come in, telling me that, Mr. Johnson, this is an attempt to collect the debt. Any information obtained may be used for that purpose. And I thought about all of the things that I was doing to impress people and friends and family that really weren't helping me with my financial situation. And I thought about all of those things and I wrote those things down. That was the first thing that I did, is just wrote down the distractions and obstacles. And on the other side of the paper, I wrote down the goals, the dreams that I wanted to accomplish in this new life that I was going to create. The second thing that I did is I visualized the man that I wanted to become, the father that I wanted to become, the husband that I wanted to become. And I'm talking about, I got gritty with it. Specific. What would he wear? What would his morning routine look like? Where would he go? What would his business be? What would he do with his day? What kind of conversations would he have? What would his engagement be with his wife, with his kids, with his coworkers or business colleagues, with the people at the grocery store, the people at the bank? I had to visualize that man. I had to see him closing on real estate, writing business transactions and contracts. I had to visualize it. I had to see it for myself. And then my more extended talk about create your future self, I talk about what cologne he would wear. What would the colors in the room look like on the day that I became the man that I wanted to become. So I wrote down the things that I wanted to do and the obstacles in my way. Number 2, I visualized the exact life that that man would have, the routines he would follow, the things that he would do, conversations he would have. And the third thing that I did that night was I began to affirm by speaking in real time the things that I would do. You know, I am healthy. I am happy. I began to write down mantras which have evolved throughout the years. And my mantra today is this: I am a leader of profitable businesses and properties that make a positive impact on others. I create the freedom, resources, and legacy that I desire. I use my voice and energy to inspire others. I am healthy. I am happy. I am wealthy. I am responsible. I am a debt-free, abundant man. I am a leader in financial surplus and positive energy always. I am present for my wife, my kids, and my grandkids. And my thoughts become things. See, that's a mantra. I'm speaking into existence the man that I wanted to become. And I live that life today. And you see, to create your future self, you have to do those things, at least to start. You've got to write down the things that are keeping you from being the person that you want to be. And on that same sheet of paper, write down the goals that you want to accomplish. Be specific about that. I'm talking about an exact dollar amount, an exact date that you have in mind, a place that you'll be, what you'll do. Those things have to be written down and read throughout the day, constantly. So that's number 1, write it down. Number 2, to create your future self, you must visualize, see it. Close your eyes and see that person already in the real form, in present tense. And number 3 is very important. You got to speak it. Life and death, success and failure lies within the tongue. You must speak it on a consistent basis. Speak the life that you want for yourself. Not the negative things. Don't talk about the news and gossiping and all the bad things and the bills and the debts and the health issues, things that's going on. That's not the future you. To create your future self, you've got to speak into existence the person that you want to become. And you got to believe it. I know it's hard, but you got to believe it. So you too can create your future self by writing things down, by visualizing that truth and speaking them into existence. My name is Victor Vonico Johnson. You can follow me for more great wisdom on how to create your future self on my Create Your Future Self YouTube channel. And if you're ready to book me to come and inspire your team and bring all this great energy and wisdom, You can book me through victorvjohnson.com. God bless. Go create your future self.